presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit it. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Let's do it, right? Happy Friday, a big weekend ahead. Spring sports are starting up. You've got a couple big basketball games going on, and there's some big breaking news that we have come across the desk. Softball that we'll talk about here in just a moment. Chris Clayton here with you live from our Country Financial Studio. This is Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Dana Altman joins the program. He talked with the media yesterday or on Wednesday, I should say, as Oregon men's basketball prepares for their matchup with Purdue. That'll be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Josh Jamieson, Duck's assistant coach, came into studio to talk with Joey Mack. We'll have that later on. Jess Drummond, women's lacrosse head coach, talks about the season opener tomorrow here at Pape Field. But we got to start with something big that happened just in the last half hour. No-hitter to start the season. How about that? Oregon softball, first of all, they won 3-0. That's part of the news that's great. 1-0 start against a power conference team to get the victory there. But a no-hitter. And it wasn't just a no-hitter. I mean, it was dominant. It was close to a little bit more than that. Lindsey Grind starts the season off with a gem, 14 strikeouts, a new career high, to just 2 walked batters. The Ducks offense did enough. They came alive. Oregon ended up with getting 3 runs on 8 hits. They got a run in the 6th and 2 in the 7th. They're going to be playing Clemson here coming up soon. You can listen to that on kwva.uoregon.edu, the Ducks student radio station, with Saul Galvan on the call. They had to switch fields between games 1 and 2 there. But, wow, what an incredible way to start the season. New Lindsey Grind is going to be huge this season as a senior, one of the top arms in the entire country, a proven first-team All-American. But what a special start. We're going to get the official notes and the official facts as it goes along, but I wonder if that's ever happened. A season-opening no-hitter? That's crazy. I was taking a look at the record book and trying to find it. I don't think there has been a season-opening no-hitter. I found a few that were in February, but I'm not the sports information director for softball, so I'm not going to officially come out here and say that's a fact. My guess is it is, but I know it's a fact that that's an amazing way to start the season. Congratulations to Oregon softball, Lindsey Grind and the Ducks 1-0, and taking on Clemson, another challenge, and they'll have 2 more big ones tomorrow against Liberty and Tennessee before capping off with Southeastern Louisiana on Sunday. They're down in Clearwater, Florida, as KWVA has the full coverage of those games. Let's talk men's basketball. Oregon playing number 12 Purdue. Big Ten battle, an excellent Boilermakers program led by head coach Matt Painter, as Oregon will try and battle through these injuries. Oregon will be playing at 10 a.m. That'll be broadcast on television on CBS, or you can listen on the Oregon Sports Network with Joey Mack on the call there. I was looking at the favorite part of the program to our director-producer, Scott Phillips, where I start to talk about analytics in basketball and metrics. And I saw one that is sad, but it encompasses what Oregon's had to deal with. Oregon has the second most production loss due to injuries in the entire country. So the way they measured it was not just injured players being out, but what players were out, right? So the impact, the minutes, the usage, what are you missing with injuries? Oregon's had the second most. It's been incredible what they've had to deal with, and bad luck. And it's disappointing. Everybody's disappointed, but they're battling through it. They're fighting to the end, and they've got a huge opportunity tomorrow against number 12 Purdue. Head coach Dana Altman spoke to the media on Wednesday about what they've been battling through.
I was watching Purdue and lost track of time. I pulled out
the game film from last year and watched it last night, and they're just so similar because they have 4 starters, and they know what they want out every possession, offensively and defensively. We had a heck of a game with them last year. Nate had 6 block shots. TJ Bamba guarding his tail off. Brandon got off to a good start, but then got into foul trouble. But, just watching them, just their experience, their toughness. Matt does such a great job with them. They're just – last year we had a heck of a game with them as a defensive battle, but this year, the personnel are so much different for us. I just trying to figure out a way to slow them down. We did a good job slowing them down last year. We had a little trouble scoring ourselves.
And Dana, when you zoom out, I guess, on these last few weeks, how much do you feel like you can attribute it to the major, obviously, injuries that you guys have faced, or maybe other factors that are going on for you guys?
Well, anything I say here makes it sound like excuses. We got off to a bad start before the season when Jackson broke his hand, and I didn't feel like we made the progress we needed to. And then Jackson was our only experienced guard, that we had, and that's probably my fault for not backing us up more, on the experience level with guards. But part of it's the schedule. We come off the road, and then we play a really good Nebraska team, Michigan State, I think, all in the top 10. That's not good to play without Nate, our only experienced inside player. So, again, those are the 2 guys, along with KJ, that we knew had to play well for us, just from experience of what we lost and what we were able to get out of the portal, buy out of the portal, whatever you want to call it. We knew we had to have those 3 guys on the floor all the time for experience. And, we haven't had a conference game when we've had them, all 3 of them on the floor. So, it hasn't been good. And, we're hoping to get Nate back. He practiced a little bit yesterday. I don't know if he'll be able to go this weekend or not. But we obviously need him, for an inside presence, inside scoring. If you look at points in the paint the other night, we got killed both from a defensive standpoint and an offensive standpoint. We didn't score enough in there, and we gave up 44 in the paint. So obviously Nate's impact, I'm watching the game last year, as I mentioned, with Purdue, and he had 6 block shots in that game. And we didn't have any block shots the other night. So, it's, tough without the 3 experienced guys that we were counting on. Now, to KJ's credit, he's battled his tail off, without the other 2 guys, he's battled his tail off. But again, just trying to get any rotation, Big E's done for the year now. He was just starting to play good, giving us some minutes, making the transformation after getting here late, just when school started. He was trying to, picking up some things and how we wanted to play. I thought he had played better, and, he hurt his shoulder and had shoulder surgery on Monday, and obviously he's done for the year. And, Dev was a starter at the beginning of the year. He struggled with the groin. He's going to be out for a few weeks now again, which has kept him in and out of the lineup. And, again, the experience factor. So, like I said, it's a long answer. There's no easy answer for it. But the injuries have hurt our development as a team all the way from the start of the season. I don't know how many different starting lineups we've had and, how many games guys have missed. But we've just never been able to get 7 or 8 guys that we can count on for a rotation and get some things working. The other night I looked after the game, and Luke and Drew, who have worked their tails off, had played a lot of minutes. FA, we threw him out there for a few minutes. Jamari, Way, just a lot of new faces that didn't play any minutes for us last year, and haven't played many minutes in the States. So it's not ideal, but we just got to keep plugging. We got a third of our season left. We got to figure out a way to put some things together and hopefully get Nathan back to give us some stability in the post, and make, win a few ball games, have the guys get their heads up a little bit and have a little fun here.
You mentioned on Sunday that those new guys, lack of experience guys, this week was an important week for them with no games, a lot of practice. What's kind of the focus you would expect from them this week to get out of it?
Well, we spent a lot of time yesterday defensively, just going over, things that are fundamentally that we've got to do better. Things that often to the ball, man and ball, just we're making fundamental mistakes that a good basketball team, an experienced basketball team wouldn't make. And so we spent all day yesterday on that. We'll spend a lot of time again defensively today. I know we've got to score more points, but, defensively we can get some of those things corrected earlier. That's just effort, thought, often to the ball. Just, I think we can get some of those things corrected earlier than, offense just takes more time. And, we're going to have to hit some shots. We did have some good looks the other day, but we're not shooting it with a lot of confidence. And I can understand that. You lose ball games and you don't play with confidence. Like I said, I mentioned watching that game with Purdue. We were 15-2, and our guys were flying around like they knew what they were doing, So your whole mindset changes. And our guys aren't used to being here. The guys that have been with us, KJ, he's not used to being here. Nate, been with us 5 years. Those guys, it's hard on them because they're not used to being in this situation.
Purdue plays a little bit more in the half court. You mentioned last week against UCLA that plays a little bit faster, that controlling the tempo, especially for a shorthanded team, is important. How does that differ for a team that plays a little bit slower and more in the half court?
Well, Iowa did that too. In the first half, I thought we were okay. Purdue, they just beat you up. They're old, they're physical. I mentioned the 4 guys back, and then they added a fifth-year senior in Clough. So they're old and experienced. So they can beat you in a lot of different ways. You do have to stop their transition because they're very effective. They don't run a lot, but they're very effective when they do run. So you still got to get back and put your defense together. But no, they create a lot of problems. Smith is, just talented, experienced. He made the critical plays last year that got us, and he makes a lot of critical plays for his team. But no, they're a handful in every regard. If you look at their percentages, and I think they're 51% overall and 38 from the line, 38 from 3, and shoot a good percentage from the free throws. So again, they're efficient offensively in every category.
You're obviously someone who's had a lot of success over your years here. How much has this year and all of the external factors in college sports in general weighed on you and made you think even about your potential future in the game?
It's been 31 years since we had a year like this. My first year at Creighton. So it's different, but the guys are good. I feel bad for the guys. I've gotten to do this 46 years. Nate's came back, his 5th year to have a great year, and he's been banged up all year. Sprains his ankle bad the first half of the San Diego State game. You know, I mean, we're talking back in November. And, you know, fights his tail off to come back from that. You know, sprains his ankle in the first half of the Nebraska game. And now has fought the last 3 weeks to try to come back from that. So you feel for guys like that, you know, who could have went anywhere, you know, made more money, all that, you know. And he stayed with us because, you know, his family and him wanted him to be here. So when it doesn't go smooth for him, you know, KJ came back, you know, and to see his running mate, Jackson, you know, those two guys have spent a lot of time together. They came in as freshmen and, you know, so, you know, I feel bad for Jackson not being able to play. So those three guys came back and, you know, I told him when we brought him back that we were going to build everything around him. And sounded like a good plan at the time. And so they were capable of doing that if we'd have stayed healthy. And it's my fault for not backing it up with more experience. You know, that's on me. And so I feel really bad about that for those guys. But, you know, it doesn't change. You know, you do this as long as there's always ups and downs. You know, this is a big down, but, you know, I still like coaching, still want to coach. You know, I still enjoy going to the gym every day. Got a great staff. So, no, doesn't change how I feel about it.
Ducks head coach Dane Altman talking to the media as Oregon fights through. It's been a lot of bad luck this season dealing with the injuries as they start to pile up. It can be emotionally tough. You just got to keep fighting down the home stretch as we head into February. When we come back, our discussion of Oregon men's basketball continues. Josh Jamieson in studio with Joey Mack next on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Man, I love my kids so much. I once sat for 3 hours in the cold rain to watch her soccer team lose by 18 goals.
I love my kids so much, I once used a tube to suck snot out of her stuffed nose at 3 a.m.
You win.
Love your kids? Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat. From toddlers to tweens, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to find the right seat for their age and size. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider continues. Chris Clayton here with you as we're talking about Oregon men's basketball. Before the break, Dane Altman talking to the media as Oregon makes their trip over to play Purdue. Earlier this week, Josh Jamieson came into studio to talk with Joey Mack about the progress and the process that's been this 25-26 season that at times has been disappointing, but fighting through it and trying to find the positives along the way.
Well, it's my pleasure to welcome Josh Jamieson into the Country Financial Studio. It's the first time that we've had this Oregon men's basketball assistant coach make the trek across the river. What's your time from closing the door in your office at Matt Knight to opening the door to the Cavs?
Oh, I'd say we're probably about 10 minutes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you did the Ferry Street Bridge Drive a lot.
I did that a lot because I had a lot of responsibilities with academics my first time around.
Right.
So I was over and back on a regular basis. So.
Have you driven that bridge more than anyone else in this town?
Oh, boy. That's hard to say. I'm sure somebody that lives downtown and works in Springfield probably has me beat.
Right.
But, yeah.
Not by much,
Not
though,
by
Josh.
much. Not by much.
Not
I've
by
done
much.
the I-5 a lot, too. So I've gotten through the years. Yes.
You know, and to that point, Josh, I mean, look, I think it's safe to say that nobody anticipates injuries. They're the worst part of sports.
Oh, absolutely.
I've always said this. But you're someone that's been through so many years of Oregon basketball. Like, how often does that kind of sink in for you, like, to zoom out and be like, wow, boy, there has been a lot of successful years here in this program.
Sure. No, well, Kelly Pfeiffer, one of the officials for our game the other day, came up to me and said I was reading the bios, and I realized it's 20 years. And I said, yeah, it's hard for me to realize that it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
But, no, there have been a lot of great moments here, and that's why a season like this, which we all acknowledge is disappointing by our standards, it's important to sometimes keep in perspective that this is also a very, very rare occurrence.
No
and
doubt.
The 16 seasons that Coach Altman has been here, of which I've been in 14 of them, I mean, we've never had something quite like this. We've, had an occasional injury here or there, but we've also been extremely fortunate when it comes to, the medical history of our players. And I think we have a good program in place. I think Clay Jamieson, our athletic trainer, is really good, long time. The only guy that's been around longer than I have.
That's true, yeah. That's true.
And so he does a really good job. And so, again, when you have a one-off like this, you don't expect the fans to understand necessarily how it would wind up here.
Sure.
But at the same time, you hope that there's a view of the totality. And we've also always, when we've had a down year here or there, made pretty triumphant returns, and that's
true.
what the plan is going forward.
Well, that's a great point. I mean, you think about the history, and I understand that the season, it's hyper-fixated, but you all even are thinking about a larger picture. This year, right? Like, you're already thinking, and you have to, in recruiting and filling out a roster. Like, how do you handle that as a coach? The focus on now, but the future, too.
Well, you want to give everything that you can to the team right now, because
Sure.
you have to remember, regardless of performance and some of those other things, which, granted, extremely important, and it's job one of the players to try to be ready and job one of the coaches to prepare them. You also have to just, take a look at how do you give them everything that they need?
Right.
How do you acknowledge that this is their opportunity? This is their chance to go and play and perform, and they're not going to get necessarily another one. I mean, we have seniors that this will be it. Nate's a prime example. I mean, anybody that thinks Nate for a second would want to be sitting out games is crazy. I mean, he knows that he's down to his last, dozen or so.
Yeah,
and that's a harsh reality when you're just coming up and realizing that you're a senior in college. Take the sports out of it, and you realize that I've got, 6 months of college left before I'm heading out into the real world. Well, you magnify that quite a bit by the audience now.
Sure.
For Nate. Most of us don't have people yelling and screaming for or against us.
That's right.
Too often. So, yeah, we try to stay focused on the right now. We try to stay focused on getting everything. But there has to be planning. There has to be an eye towards the future, only in order to say in today's environment there are going to be a lot of changes. There is going to be a lot of turnover. And you just have to be prepared for it.
Yeah, it makes sense, all right? And, to that point, Josh, like you talk about the here and now, there's guys on this team that have been thrust into roles that maybe they weren't even anticipating themselves. Like, that's a developmental opportunity for everybody, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I was speaking with Jackson yesterday, who unfortunately has just been battling this hand injury that really has prevented him from being nearly as effective and even playing at this point now. And we were just talking about it's a great opportunity for a lot of players that otherwise perhaps weren't expecting it. And it's a reminder to there's always in sports kind of that next man up consideration, and you have to stay prepared for it because you don't know when you're going to get it, but it's also not something that you can cram for.
Right.
It's not an exam that you might be able to fill your head with all the answers the night before.
Sure.
It needs to have started back when you originally had planned on it, whether it looked like it was going to happen or not.
Right.
And, I think that's a microcosm of life in some ways. A lot of us want to prepare for something at the last possible moment when we realize that it's just the consistent work that's more important than trying to play catch up.
Right. Talking with Josh Jamieson, to have that developmental conversation too. You're one of the coaches that works so hard on scouts, and I've had fans tell me that they really enjoy hearing about that process. So I wanted to ask you a little bit too, even about working with a scout team. Like, what's that process like as a coach? And that's got to be a kind of a fun, but also a test opportunity for a lot of players too.
It is. It's interesting because a lot of our guys that at one point or another played on that scout team or worked on that scout team have eventually gone on to bigger roles.
Sure.
Especially this year, in a year that we're seeing so many injuries. It actually trickles down because we're kind of running out of scout team guys because if you're not playing, you're typically on the scout team, and it kind of moves everything up. So as you take players off the scout team, there's nobody left.
Right.
So we actually had Nate was on the scout team for Iowa last week, simply because it's a way to rehab. It's kind of like, playing minor league baseball before you play major league.
Sure.
Playing in the G League versus playing in the NBA to get yourself back and ready. So, yeah, we put a lot in to the scouting of opponents. We always have, and we feel like we're trying to prepare these guys for what they're going to see, and a lot of it has been on the fly. I think the move to the Big Ten has certainly had a major impact on the way we prepare, because we now are seeing teams that we never had before, and you're seeing players that you've never seen before. I mean, Iowa was a great example this is a team that basically did not have a returning player and took a lot of their guys from Division II or some other schools. Right. And so, no, I mean, it's a lot to do, to dissect what they're going to do and then try to communicate it to the guys.
How much has that Big Ten changed now in the second year going through this? Because you play each team mostly once, right? In the Pac-12, it used to be you played almost everybody twice. That had to change things too.
Yeah, so when I got into this, of course, it was we were still the Pac-10, and we did play everyone twice. Yeah. So to get to our 18 games in conference, we played all our opponents. Then, of course, once we went to the Pac-12, there were a few that were left out just by virtue of having too many teams to fit into an 18 or even 20 game schedule.
Sure.
But now you come to a situation where, other than our three locals being Washington, USC, and UCLA, everything is now a single game, single opportunity. It can have its pros and it can have its cons. But, for us, it does make for a lot of preparation because, we will play, 8 or 10 consecutive games against teams we hadn't seen. Yeah. And so every game you're preparing for something absolutely brand new.
Do you find that players that maybe take to the scout team, like how much does that improve their mental game of basketball when they go through like learning the other team and learning Oregon? How does that impact those
Well, it's a great opportunity for young guys to understand that this is a thinking man's game for sure. Yeah. And anytime we're trying to teach them that, you really do get to see a little bit more about basketball IQ and some other things, because we're asking you to pick things up very quickly.
Right.
I mean, we may give you 20 minutes to go over things. Now, we're not taking their entire playbook. I mean, it'd be impossible. I mean, it's the same thing, I'm sure, in any other sport. You get the main actions, you chart what they're going to do repetitively,
get the headlines,
and then you find the few wrinkles. What is their best, what are they going to go to if it's a close game down the stretch? What are they going to go to if they've got 10 seconds left in the half? Because that stuff tends to be somewhat repetitive. You tend to see trends because, as coaches, we get comfortable with certain things and the ball in the hands of certain people.
Right. Right. Yeah, you trust it, right? Because there's that
Absolutely.
trust factor. Right?
Oh, 100%. Like that is a big key to it, and especially by this late in the season.
Sure.
Like that is one thing that you can say. We've got roughly 10 games left, and you look at that and you say, oh, Indiana or Purdue is going to do what Indiana and Purdue has done for the year because it's worked.
Yeah.
Especially in Purdue's case, who's towards the top of the conference, despite having had a few bumps recently. But they're not going to all of a sudden shift the way they play. Right. It's just not going to happen.
Well, and you talk about too. Like I imagine on the scouting example, you all are probably a little tough to scout right now because there's been so much inconsistency in the rotation.
There is that, but that, trust me, that's not really something that we desire.
Right. No, I get it. I get it. Talking about that though, Josh, just some keys for the team. What do you want to see from your group here on the road?
It becomes a bit cliche in sports, but the number one thing right now is just effort. It's coming out and playing hard, and at that point kind of letting things fall where they fall. If we come out and compete, now included in that is offensive rebounding, which is a huge thing for us. We haven't shot a remarkable percentage this year, so that has left some misses on the table. We need to be going after them. Defensive rebounding the same. We can't give up second chance scoring opportunities on a regular basis. And then what has really been a major issue for us has been turning the ball over and having the turnovers lead to opponent scores. Yeah. And I mean, if you look at the main factor and on the bottom of every box score, there's basically those what you'd kind of consider in many cases to be the hustle plays, and that's going to be points off of turnovers. It's going to be second chance points. Those are going to be the big two that you're circling and saying we'd like to win both these categories, and if we do, then it usually puts us in pretty good position.
Well, Josh, you can imagine I ask Coach Altman almost every game what jumps off the box score to you, and 90% of the time it's one of the things that you just said.
Second chance points and points off turnovers. I mean, if you're gonna focus in on two things that typically are strong indicators of outcome, it's not going to happen all the time, but it's going to be statistically relevant.
Yeah. Part of the deal. He's Josh Jamieson, Oregon basketball assistant coach. Josh, thanks for coming over. Thanks for taking
Always
the time.
A pleasure, Joey.
Appreciate it.
You bet.
All right, thanks to Josh for coming into studio as Oregon prepares to swing away 10 a.m. tomorrow at number 12 Purdue. Pregame show starts at 9:30 a.m. on the Oregon Sports Network with Joey Mack on the call. That game also televised on CBS. Still ahead here on Duck Insider, we're going to preview Oregon women's basketball's game Sunday at noon against number 9 Ohio State. That and more ahead on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Well, the show continues. Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Chris Clayton here with you on the Country Financial Studio. As we talked a lot about men's basketball, we still have women's basketball ahead on Sunday at noon. But some big news today comes from the Diamond. The season opener no-hitter, Lindsey Grimes, starts with a bang. The first career no-hitter to open up her senior season in a 3-0 victory over Missouri. She had 14 strikeouts, which is a new career high, and only walked 2 batters. Game with the full 7 innings, she got close to a perfect game, only walking a couple batters. A pretty unbelievable achievement for her, and Oregon softball is in action again right now. They're playing against Clemson in Clearwater, Florida. That one, just check the box score, is in the top of the first inning. And Elise Sokolsky is in the circle for Game 2. She's got the honor of trying to follow up what Lindsey Grimes and the Ducks defense just achieved. And Oregon softball version Infinity trying to start off the season with a 2-0 beginning. And they'll have 2 more games tomorrow. They'll be playing Liberty in Tennessee and then Southeastern Louisiana on Sunday. So, yes, great start, but they're trying to keep it going. I'm sure that's part of the conversation with the coaching staff. Hey, 1 is great. Keep it pushing. Let's see if they can get off to a nice start. Baseball still in the offseason. Their season starts next week, which is exciting, but it's watch list season for baseball, and the Ducks have an honor of Maddox Maloney being on the Golden Spikes Award watch list. Now, this is a big honor. Golden Spikes Award is a big deal. If you go back in the history of some of the winners of this award, it's awarded to the best player in the country. I mean, there's some huge names that went on to have successful professional careers. Maloney, just the 8th Duck to ever be included on this watch list. Junior shortstop, also preseason All-American, 2-time All-League selection, hoping to break out and have somehow an even bigger year. And speaking of All-Americans, another name on a preseason All-American watch list, how about Dominic Hellman, the DH for the Ducks? Him and Maloney both on the preseason NCBWA All-American preseason team. Those two combined for 28 home runs, sure to be 2 big-time impact players for the Ducks here this season. Looking ahead to Sunday, big weekend. Number 9 Ohio State is coming into town. My understanding is they're already in town. They're getting ready for the Ducks and the Buckeyes on Sunday. Matthew Knight Arena. This is a hot ticket because it's a great game, but also because of the deals on tap. How about this? If you're watching, you can see a graphic on your screen, but let me explain what you've got a chance to get on Sunday. $3 Modelo's. $3 Modelo cans. $8 Super Sunday Nacho Bar at Uncle Phil's and at Admiral concession stands in MKA. That's a great deal. So if it already wasn't enough, with Oregon women's basketball winning 4 games in a row, hosting a top 10 opponent in Ohio State, some really good concession stand deals, $8 nachos and $3 Modelo cans. So that's a deal that was announced today that's really exciting. What an opportunity. I think you've got your Sunday planned out now, right? You go watch Oregon basketball, take on Ohio State at noon. You have plenty of time to make it home or wherever you want to go and watch the Super Bowl. I mean, what a sports day Sunday should be as you kind of get yourself ready with some nachos and some Modelo cans if you want to take advantage of that deal at MKA. Oregon women's basketball is in a great spot. 18-7, they're number 22 in the net rankings. This would be their biggest triumph yet. Ohio State is coming into that game Sunday 21-3, 10-2 in conference play, and number 18 in the net rankings, trying to get a big-time win, and also the Ducks are jostling for positioning in the standings. But it's also a fun day on Sunday. There's, in celebration of the National Girls and Women's in Sports Day on Wednesday, there's a clinic taking place. You can come and hang out with select UO women's teams and learn more about their sport starting at 10:30 a.m. You go to goducks.com/NGWSD. Game ticket is required to participate in the camp. It is open to children 6th grade and under. So an opportunity to learn some things about sports, but also Meet the Ducks athletes, a celebration there for National Girls and Women's in Sports Day on Sunday. So that's a big game and some big opportunities to celebrate on Sunday. We'll hit another break. When we come back, we celebrate the start of lacrosse season as well. Head coach Jess Drummond in the studio next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart.
Another beautiful day here in Eugene, and we're getting towards spring, and you can really feel it in the air, and you can see it in the sports too as lacrosse starts tomorrow. Ducks women's lacrosse. 11 a.m. They're playing here. It's at Pape Field. They're lucky the weather's nice. That works out well. Arizona State coming from Tempe to take on the Ducks. A pretty nice challenge to just dive into it for Jess Drummond and the Ducks to play ASU here to start off in the season. High expectations, a lot of talent back. Head coach Jess Drummond came into studio to talk with Joey Mack earlier this week about expectations for what's hopefully a big year. It's opening weekend for Oregon lacrosse. Jess Drummond, head coach, is here. Coach, does it ever get old to hear that phrase, just opening day, opening weekend?
No, it doesn't. It's so exciting. Cece and I were talking about it this morning on our way to Locals Donuts because, it's Wednesday. Oh. I know.
Wow.
We went. It's game week. We were like, gotta go.
That's a tradition?
No, we just remembered Wednesday coming in. I was like, oh, my gosh, it's Locals, and we haven't gone yet. And so I got into the office. I was like, let's go. Let's go for a field trip.
What's the donut of choice?
Just the glaze, the classic, and a pretzel.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, and a pretzel.
Yes.
Do you save the pretzel for later?
I actually started with the pretzel today. I haven't even hit the donut yet. Wow. I like it. They serve them warm, which is delicious, but I like when it's a little bit cool.
Sure. Chocolate old-fashioned.
Nice. Yeah, so that was exciting.
Old-fashioned. They break into little pieces. And
fair.
I find that, I don't know, that's just like some nostalgia to it, too. Okay.
Yeah, so that was cute. That we did that. We were talking about how crazy this is. Our first game day here, and I was like, 3. That's it.
Have you all?
It feels like 5, 10. I don't know.
Are you doing the picture like first day of school or like first day of second grade, first day of third grade?
We haven't, but I feel like that's something that we missed out on.
Yeah, that seems like something that you all would have done, and like, look back at first day of first year, right? It's exciting though, right? There's always a lot of fun and optimism to start the year.
The players get so excited. We've been practicing against each other, and then finally, that opening game day, it's somebody else.
Do you find that there's extra nerves on opening day?
I would say excitement nerves, like
anxious.
Like just the pure joy of like this is what we get to do.
Right.
And like all the work you put into all fall, like winter break, this past month and a half, like it starts on Saturday.
Does it change when there's fans in the stands, like, there's the intros and the build up to the game's a little different? It's not like at practice where you just go through your warm-ups, you're ready to go. Like, do you coach your team through that? Like, what a game, how it feels different?
Yeah, and I think they know that with just that excitement, that pressure that you're putting a jersey on, not just your penny for practice. So I think their whole routine in the locker room and our pregame meal, like just getting that routine in is like so different, and it just kind of builds you up to that moment of once the game starts.
Talking lacrosse with Jess Drummond, we talked last week about how you even had your team scout themselves just a week ago.
Yep.
So now, if you could, scout yourself heading into opening weekend. What do you like about your team?
Yeah, I love our grittiness, our discipline. Like we mentioned last week, just a lot of new rules, and you've got to be a lot more disciplined on defense this year. Just a lot more calls against defense to help the just flow of offense moving. And so I think, that's something that we have in our back pocket, is that we're just a very disciplined team. I love our draw squad. Like we just are, like I said, gritty. Like we just want the ball. We're competitive. We want to win. We have that drive. This is year 3 now. Like all this work we've put into our culture's here. And so I just am super excited that we get to play somebody else. And all the pieces, we just are all on the same bench. We're all lined up together. So it's just going to be so exciting.
We talked before, too, about how you feel like your team's a little bit deeper. So now heading into this week, tell us about the competition level at practice. Like, have you settled in on your line? How deep do you want to go the first weekend? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. And I tell them, like, you never know until game day. Like, shoot your shot. And so I always want them to be prepped going into the week, that you never know if you're going to be getting in and fighting for the opportunity. I tell them a starting lineup is not set until Friday. Like, it's just not. Like, anyone has an opportunity to step in and do that, and it's not a guaranteed week by week.
Well, makes sense.
So I want them to compete.
Take us through maybe by position group, if we could. Just like, let's start maybe up front. What do you like about your attackers this year?
Yeah, I just love their flow. We've got some veterans. We've got some people coming back. We've got people coming back from injuries that I'm so fired up about. We had Avery and Gabby out last year, but we've got them returning back. So I'm excited for them. Just, you see that in a player that just sad, missing a year of lacrosse, like just not being able to play, these season-ending injuries, and you just feel for them, and they come back with that hunger and drive to be better, like drive to get back on that field. They have that extra sense of awareness of like what it means and what the privilege is to be playing the sport on there. So I'm so fired up for them.
Well, like even talk about now they're upperclassmen,
right?
Like they're juniors
now,
right?
Yeah, and Avery's a captain. Like she knows that worth. I'm fired up for Emma too. We just have some people who get it, who've been with us for 3 years, to really want to implement those attacking concepts.
Boy, and you talk about even the experience. Like you have excitement going into year 3, but now there's more consistency with the players. I'd imagine too, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Mids.
Yes, we've got some good mids. Jenkins is a defender that's been moved to midi, so I'm so excited for fans to watch her. She just brings that edge. She's just so fun to watch, like gritty and aggressive and physical and strong, and she's been really, really awesome on our draw control, so I'm excited for her. You've got Anna Simmons coming back, like round of applause, like here we go, her final year, like what's she gonna do?
A lot of records.
I'm like, let's keep breaking them. Why not?
Sure.
Senior year. Let's do it.
Yeah. You talked too about like experience. As I even look through like in talking about middies, it's like, oh, there's some great performances in their careers, right?
Yeah.
Like you're a little more veteran, I'd say, in that group, right?
Yeah. With those guys, we've got Janae, who's a senior as well, with some experience. We have Liv and Hazel, sophomores, but they got experience from last year. So I know last year we were slim on numbers, but it gave these sophomores a ton of experience and game awareness to be able to come back and be confident as sophomores going into this.
Continuing talking positions, how about your defense? What do you like?
Yeah, love them. They're just rock solid. Like what we've got Kenny. We've got Jaden. We've got a transfer, Shelby, who's just been – the team loves her. Like she's just such good energy. We've got Haley Russell, who was out last year and just so smart. And Ella, again, another sophomore who got so much experience last year and just has that confidence down there again.
Yeah, there was a lot of sophomores. I remember a lot of people were asking – you have injuries, but as a result, there's a lot of players that have to step up into different roles.
Yep. What a benefit for them.
It is. And now you hope that you get to – benefit from that, right?
Yeah.
Going into this season.
Exactly.
How about in goal?
Yeah, we've got Kate Shields is back, and we've also got Francesca. We call her Frenchie. She's Stony Brook transfer, so very excited for those two. They just bring different styles, but they're very competitive and very strong.
There's your breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And now next week we'll of course dissect the lineup, and it will be just. Then it'll all change again the following week. Yeah. And I say that like tongue-in-cheek, not because of injuries like y'all experienced last year, but just I know that's the competition level you want, right?
Right. Love it.
Arizona State,
yes.
first opponent. What can you tell us?
They're good. They're good. Yeah. They got some votes by Top 25, which is awesome. And I love this first game. We show up, we show out, and like at home field at Pape, fans come out. It's going to be nice weather. Like I just feel so fired up. ASU, they have a seriously strong attacking end. I think they average anywhere between 13 to 15 goals a game, like on attack. So we've got to definitely shut them down there. And like I said, I think it's going to be a matchup of our defense against their attack.
Do you find that like the first matchup, it's more about you?
Yes. You don't have any games. And we've got fall film and we got that. But I love that mentality anyways. Like I've always thought like, we're Oregon. We think about ourselves. We improve where we can. We find our areas of weaknesses, and we grow within that. I love that saying, Oregon versus everybody.
Yeah, well,
it's us.
I like too. You talk about the Pape aspect of
it.
We haven't talked through like your whole schedule yet, but this is the first of many home matchups at Pape Field. So as a coach, I imagine that was intentional. Try to be at home a little more.
Yes, definitely have that opportunity. We've got some big OA trips, and those are pretty long trips. So I was trying to get some more home games to be able to, get fans out here, continue to come support us. And I love playing at Pape.
Yeah, second weekend is in San Diego, but then you're at Pape for a few weeks even after that, right? So you stayed on the West Coast. I know that's got to be helpful too, right?
Yeah, super fun. Getting 2 games down in San Diego will be great.
Arizona State up first, though. We won't talk about the opponents ahead.
It's ASU on Saturday.
Pape, defending Pape. I know that means something to you.
Yeah, of course. It still does. It always will. I'm like, love this field. This is our field, our turf. I just want that to continue to be ingrained in them as it was in me, and that tradition of this is our field. When somebody steps on it, we protect it with all we've got.
Not just for this weekend, but in general. What are the keys to success? What do you want to see from your team this year?
Yeah, I want to see just that confidence that they've been doing so great. They've put in the work. They've done it. I talked about discipline. So, again, like confidence, discipline, and gritty, like going for everything. Don't be afraid.
Jess Drummond, Oregon Lacrosse head coach. Here we
go.
Season's here. Every Wednesday, just inside the broadcast, we'll record with Coach Drummond. And that means that we get fired up for lacrosse in the middle of every week. And I just have to tell you, when you told me, I want to do it on Wednesday again, I was like, you know what? That just seems perfect that Jess Drummond comes on hump day. You get us over the hump, Coach.
Gotta have the energy. Let's go. It's Wednesday.
Hump. Did Rob Mullins join your photo shoot day again this year?
He didn't. But I've seen him twice this week, so I'm like, if this is good luck. He's got to come around once we get some wins.
It's good luck.
Keep coming.
Jess Drummond, good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
11 a.m. tomorrow, Pape Field, an opportunity to get outside, enjoy the weather, and enjoy the Ducks season opener against Arizona State. Wrap up the show when we come back. Duck Insider putting you into the weekend on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, like he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt U.S. Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Wrapping up the show on this Friday, Duck Insider here from our Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Let's just go through. We got a little bit of time here. The schedule. It's a crazy schedule here this weekend. First of all, men's basketball tomorrow, 10 a.m. at Purdue. That one's on CBS, or you can listen on the Oregon Sports Network with Joey Mack on the call, 9:30 a.m. pregame show there. Oregon women's basketball in action noon on Sunday, 11:30 a.m. pregame show on the Oregon Sports Network. It'll be me and Bev Smith on the call for that one. Also, some special concession stand deals for that game as well. Oregon women's lacrosse is here tomorrow, 11 a.m. as they host Arizona State, an excellent Sun Devils team that's receiving votes in the national top 25, as you heard. So that's going to be a great challenge. Men's golf is continuing their competition in Hawaii. Tomorrow will be day 3. They're competing right now. Oregon's men's tennis is here tonight at 5 p.m. hosting Utah State. Looking elsewhere, like I said, it's a busy schedule. Women's tennis noon against Portland tomorrow here in Eugene. Softball continues in action right now against Clemson with a 2-run lead. They play Liberty in Tennessee tomorrow as well. Sunday, you got softball, acro, and tumbling, and Oregon women's basketball. So, big week. Tried to get through it all, but it's going to be exciting. Lots to report next week on Duck Insider. I'm Chris Clayton. Have a great weekend. Get outside, enjoy the weather, watch some Duck sports.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.